Here we go. I think this is now working. Let me turn up the sound and check. Here we go. I think this is loud. So here we go. There we go. It's all working now. And my, what a week this has been. That was the week that was. As David Frost used to say every week on the CBS television network show, that was the week that was. Produced and directed by our very good friend, Mr. Marshall Jameson. And what they would do is they would just sit down and make fun of the week that was. The Daily Show, late night comedy, but it was in prime time. Popular show people love to watch. That was the week that was. And I never watched it because it was a little before my time. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. In reruns and talking with Marshall and looking at old video, it was a terrific, wonderful, witty show. And you had to be fast because I believe it was on Fridays, so they had to whip up the stories early in the week and get them written and put on the air and condense it down and get it all on there. Our show. So it was a lot of fun. Now, we have an update, as it were, on our terrible experience with Facebook. If you are aware of our struggles in the past, we have been on Instagram, reluctantly and fervently, and they cut us off, maybe a month ago now, for no reason, for Instagram. I post cat pictures, and somehow they decided that I was in violation of their terms of service, community values, whatever that means, if I don't want anything to do with it. So we appealed and sent photographs and proved our identity. None of that was enough to get us back on. Finally, I contacted a woman I knew at Facebook who I worked with on the NFT, and she was able to get me back on. Then last week, Facebook itself, on our business page with 14,000 people who follow us, it's a verified page. I have been religiously posting stuff on there at least once a day for the past, I don't know how many years, 10 years. And after one of Jana's shows on Saturday, she has no audio, no sound, nothing whatsoever. It's all in ASL, American Sign Language, and typed text, where she types, says hello. Okay, so the next day, wake up, getting ready to do the show, and we get a very nasty red letter message from Facebook saying, you're in copyright violation for your show yesterday. And I said, what? So you look deeper into the violation. It says that you, at multiple times, like 20 different audio segments, you were airing audio from the World Cup FIFA soccer match. Now, it's ridiculous because, first of all, we don't care anything about soccer. Second of all, we don't show any video or audio on any of our live streams. But the fact that this was a deaf stream with Jana Marie Sweetheart, who doesn't do anything wrong ever, but that there was no audio on our show at all, once, twice, forever, never. No. So I appealed it, and you have to go through the whole process. But the way Facebook handles that is if they think you are in violation of one thing, you are in violation of everything. And that's how they handle you. They don't care who you are. And I'm a nobody. So I could not post any updates. I could not reply to people who were sending me comments on my posts. I was shut out of Facebook. It was still visible, unlike Instagram, which was taken offline, but I couldn't do anything on my page. So I went back to my friend at Facebook and said, yeah, you helped me once on Instagram. Now that this is actually Facebook where you work, do you think you could help me on this one? She never responded. I don't blame her. I wouldn't respond either. She's not technical support. But where else are you supposed to go when you're thrown out into the woods, into the cold, hard earth, and no one is paying any attention to you? Where do you go? That's exactly my question. And then the next day, it appears that the violation was taken off of Jana's video, and I was able to post. We did not stream her next day show live on Facebook because we didn't want to risk being hit again. So she finished her show on Sunday, and we were able to post, reply, comment, like on Facebook again. Okay, so maybe it was a one-time thing. Monday comes. I do my show this week, Monday of this week. And it was a good show. Finished the show. Immediately go back to Facebook. Same thing happened to me on my show. I talked about the FIFA cancellation of Jana's show, but I didn't air any audio. There's no music. There's only the sound of my depressing voice on this live stream. And so I went through the whole process again, objected, this is ridiculous. You have to be trolling me because there is no FIFA World Cup audio on my stream. And if there were, I would be hit very immediately by YouTube and by the other services that we use because they're very sensitive to this. And when you're caught in a violation on those services, they limit it to just punishing you, if you will, for that little one video. Not Facebook. They come at you from every angle with a hammer. And they hit you until you hurt. So I sent in that complaint. I, again, for now a third time, went back to my former friend at Facebook and said, can you help me with this? Same thing happened. There is a problem with your DMCA system. I'm not streaming anything FIFA. There's nothing in my stream. If a human would just listen to it. No response from her. So, again, I waited a day to see if, it would be lifted. Not lifted after a day. I checked to see if I could post a comment, reply to someone who was waiting for a reply from me. I cannot post. You're restricted from doing that, sir. Facebook. I tried to post update. You cannot do that, sir. So I'm completely locked out of my Facebook account because of the faulty and ridiculous accusations that I am somehow streaming audio from the World Cup, which I am not. No. What do you do? How do you fight back against a system that is wagered against you? You have no recourse to complain. You have no way to go and talk to people. You have no one you can contact behind the scenes to help you. Facebook, Meta, Instagram do not care. They do not want to be involved with you. They don't want to hear your complaints. If they think you're in violation, you're in violation. And that's the way it's going to go. So that was very depressing because I've had a long, and I thought, sort of good relationship with Facebook, but who wants to be treated like that? Who wants to be treated like some kind of criminal? when you're being falsely accused. And you have no way you can prove your innocence in any sort of reliable method. Just until they get back to you, then you're okay. So I decided to make the hard choice, and this is what's taken a lot of my time this week, is to go through all of my websites, all of my business enterprises, and removed all of my Instagram and Facebook connections. I'll leave it up because it's been there for 10 years and people might get some enjoyment out of it, but I'm not going to be posting anything new, no new content from me ever, or from the Jana Marie on Facebook or Instagram again, ever. They've made an enemy for life. And they don't care. Okay. I don't care either then. And I wanted to tell everybody that, so, people message me on Facebook, they put comments and expect me to respond. Hey, it's Mr. Gordon. Hey, Gordon. Absolutely infuriating. Infuriating is the kind word for it, Gordon. So, when you go to bowlesblogs.com, hey, here's Gordon. I only commented just for the record, so to speak. Good. I haven't even looked at it because it breaks my heart because I don't know if I'll be able to reply to you. So I hope you said something good. So when you go to bowlesblogs.com, you get a little pop-up. Hey, do you have any questions? And it was like an online FAQ. And it took a long time to create and a long time to take down. And I had facts like that from Facebook Messenger, I guess is what it is, on all of my websites. So I have very old-fashioned websites that are very old. They don't use a database. They're flat file websites. So I had to go in by hand and edit all of my HTML files to remove Facebook chat. That took a couple of days. And then about day 3, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, I really wanted to post one last message on Facebook and Instagram saying, hey, this is what happened. I'm not going to mention the word Facebook, mention the word Instagram for fear that that would trigger something. They don't want you talking about Facebook on Facebook. And on Wednesday or early Thursday, whatever day it was, I was able to post something, but my latest video was still blocked. And every time we've had a live stream on Facebook, they put up a yellow note after the fact saying, we've blocked your audio in the following countries because of possible music violations. And then they list like 50 European and African countries where people can see my show, but they can't hear my show. It's always bothered me. And I especially bothered me because there's no music on this show. They're just somehow assuming that there's music on this show. Their AI bot is sort of listening to this show and saying, oh, there must be music because it's a live stream, and just punishing me out of a whim. But people were responding. They could comment on the video, so I never got into that because there was no way to question the yellow flag of your music violated in these countries. There's no way to ask about it or report it. They're just telling you, we've muted your audio. So I went back. So my show was still red flagged. This is visible only to you, sir. Oh. And so I wrote my goodbye note, hoping that Gordon and the other people, family and friends who, are kind of stuck on Facebook. Gordon is not stuck on Facebook, but they're in the silo and they're older than me and they're not going to get out of the silo. So I said, look, find a different way to contact me or to watch this show. You're not going to be able to watch it on Facebook anymore. You have to go somewhere else. I don't know if they're going to get that message, but they'll get the message when I don't reply to their Messenger. I deleted WhatsApp, business, personal on my iPhone and my computer. I deleted Messenger from my computer and my iPhone. Yeah, Facebook's done. Meta is out. Because even if they said, oh, okay, well, we'll let you back in. It was an AI mistake. Okay, great. Well, then what happens next? The next big major event where the AI bot decides that, oh, a live stream is going on the same time as soccer and they must be listening to soccer because it's worldwide, so we're going to go ding them. Now, it would have been more realistic because it's a live show if they said, oh, you're broadcasting video from FIFA. Well, okay, that's a little more believable because a lot of Twitch streamers have been dinged for that in the past, watching television shows with their audience, which I never understood. But it was audio. It's like, who listens to the World Cup on audio in a live video stream? None of it made any sense. And again, my violation was this 10-second, 50 violations in an hour show. So my former friend at Facebook has now replied. She won't reply. She's done what she can. And that's okay. That's a hard lesson to learn in life. You have to go where you're wanted. And sometimes there are a lot of people who don't want you. So you accept that and you move on, say thank you very much, and you get out of town. So that's my horrible Facebook story. So I'm trying to replace Facebook because that was a wonderful stream on our live stream. And our Restream service has like 20 available places where you can stream. Unfortunately, half of them appear to be Chinese and Japanese anime. So I guess you could go and stream there, but you're in the wrong language and no one wants to listen to your talking. Dailymotion is kind of an interesting place, and you can live stream on Dailymotion, but you have to have permission. So I applied for permission months ago, never heard anything. Set up my Restream to see if it would go through. And it didn't go through. It said trying to connect. I went to my channel on Dailymotion. There's nothing there. So I turned it off. So I'm still looking for another place to stream. We used to stream on DLive, but they have the same problem as Facebook where they just, decide that they don't like you for a day and they take you off. It's kind of a weird thing where you're punishing the people who are putting up stuff that people are coming to view. It's very weird. It's a very strange and unfortunate dynamic. Now, here's some good news, and it's empty, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. Have you seen this from Trader Joe? The Winter Wassail Punch. And there's not an ASL sign for punch, so I just use punch. And sometimes I get a little bit too close to Jan Marie, and I say, would you like some punch? And I actually punch her in the arm, and I get a harder punch back. So don't punch your wife. Maybe you ask her if she wants some punch. It's like, do you want a Hertz donut? What's a Hertz donut? Whammo! Hertz donut. Live from the 3rd grade. This is what it says. A festive beverage of apple, cherry, blackcurrant, and lemon juices from concentrate infused with holiday spices and orange peel. Hey, it's Gordon. I think it's delicious. When Malka got a sample a couple of years ago, she was less than impressed. That's interesting because Janet got a sample and loved it. She brought it home. I think it's okay. Janet Marie drinks it like water. It just has a very strange taste to me. But I still drink it. And if I don't drink it fast enough, I'm asked by Janet Marie, are you going to finish that? And if I say yes, she gives me a dirty look. And if I pick up my cup and go to another room, she follows me. So I've learned, if you have this, keep it in your hand. Don't put it down on the counter, because when you turn around, it's going to be gone. But the best thing about this is the very last sip, which Jana Marie always leaves in her cup, because it's filled with all of this ground up berry and spices, and it's very potent. So I drink the last sip of hers, and I try to drink the last sip of mine because that's where all the goodness is. You can't beat Trader Joe. Always something fun. Always something new. Now, the other thing that has been Slightly, very slightly, interesting on a traumatic level is the saga of our dishwasher. Yes, luxury living in Jersey City. We never had a dishwasher except that we moved here 5 years ago. We just did everything by hand. And then you get a dishwasher, and it's like, oh, look at this. Even when we were young, we didn't have dishwashers. Just did it all by hand. And these dishwashers, we've learned from people who know that they suck. That's the word. I did not make up that word. It's a direct quote. But I can't say from who because I don't want to get them in trouble. But if you do a search on these GE dishwashers, they say that the motherboards tend to blink out if there's any kind of electrical indifference to them. And it's interesting, when you build a high-rise building, you have 600 apartments, so you're ordering 600 dishwashers, right? And the building opened 5 years ago, but it was being built for 2, and you put in the order 2 years before that, because it takes a couple of years to fill big orders for big buildings. So, as someone in the building said, these dishwashers are, 10 years old. And they're all starting to fail at the same time. And they're very sensitive to power surges. And when you open a new building like this, and there are other buildings going on around, you get power surges. And I think that's what it did. That these power surges have fried all these dishwashers. So the process is this. You report the dishwasher. They come and they replace the motherboard. They can take 10 weeks. They have them on order. And I say, how often does the motherboard fix work? And they said, well, really never. And the motherboards cost $300 and the dishwashers cost $600. So they said management wants the motherboards replaced first. And then if that fails, maybe we'll give you a new dishwasher. So I'm very lucky that I had very nice people in the building. I guess we jumped the line because we got a new motherboard. And that took an hour and a half to install because it's in a very inconvenient location. And they ran it through a cycle and it seemed to be okay. And they said, okay, well, do a load and let us know what happens. So they left. I did a load. Nothing happened. Exactly the same thing with the old motherboard. And I watched it put it together. So I know there was no mix-up. It was a very complicated situation. So I reported. I said, we didn't have to wait 10 weeks to find this out. We had to wait maybe 10 days. And it's not working. Exactly the same thing. And then I said, for the management who was not here when we first opened, the power surges were real. Obviously, the other appliances are able to handle that, but these dishwashers can't. We lost 2 iPads when we first moved in here to those power surges. Even if you have power protectors, it was that bad. Like everything goes to 300%, TVs, lights, and then off. And then you got to go around turning everything off because when the power comes back on, then it's surging all over again. And then you're in big trouble. So I was very lucky. They said, a day or two after I reported that, okay, look, we're just going to give you a new dishwasher. We're coming tomorrow. So they came yesterday, right around this time, to install the new dishwasher. That took, with pipes and everything, about half an hour. Replacing the motherboard was an hour and a half. Pulling it out, putting in a new one, 30 minutes. And it's very nice. This is Frigidaire. And I asked, because all the appliances in this apartment are GE, except for the washer and dryer, which I think are Bosch. And so I said, so what do we think of the Frigidaire? Oh, Frigidaire's great. These don't break. And he said, if they do break, all you do is open it, open this, pull out the motherboard, put in another board. It takes 2 minutes. So these motherboards are very important, I guess, to these dishwashers. This one does not seem to be as fancy as the other one. It seems a little more straightforward, a little more commercial. It's louder. The other one was very quiet. But this one seems to have more room inside, which doesn't make any sense because it fits in exactly the same space. But there's something going on. We've not run the dishwasher yet because it doesn't quite fit this way. They have to put a wood block and then attach the front of the dishwasher to the wood block, which looks very ugly and stupid. But they have to glue on the block, wait 24 hours, come back for 5 minutes, drill 2 screws, and then they leave. Now we can use it. So that was good news, I hope. And they gave us a little package of Cascade and the liquid. I guess that's the new thing. You put liquid in there that helps dry your dishes. It's supposed to last a month. I'll try it because it's free, but I don't understand why that's important. Hey, what else is in the news? Oh gosh. When I rage too much, I run out of air. But this Kyrsten Sinema, I tell you, there is something seriously medically wrong with her. I mean, she's not only a classic narcissist, but she can't let other people have any glory in a day, a week, a month of having the majority in the U.S. Senate. Has to go stomp all over the Brittany Griner story of this morning coming home from Russia. Good. And now Kyrsten Sinema is not going to be a Democrat anymore. She wants to be independent. But maybe she'll caucus with the Democrats so she can keep her committee assignments. Oh, if we only had one more. Just cut her loose. It's a betrayal of Arizona. It's a betrayal of people. They did not vote for her to be an independent. They voted for her because of her Democrat values. And now what happened? In other news, Wonder Woman 3 is canceled. Dead. DC has big problems. And director, writer Patty Jenkins said, oh, it's too bad, but this appears now to be the end of the line, I think, for Patty Jenkins and for Gal Gadot. I think she's out. She will not play Wonder Woman any longer. And the last one, the first Wonder Woman was okay, interesting. The second one, 83, terrible. Terrible script, ridiculous acting. I don't know what Patty Jenkins was thinking, but I think it caught up with her. Now, last night, we had a little bit of fun. And we watched a Netflix movie that we were sort of anticipating would be kind of silly and delightful. And it wasn't really either one of them. Have you heard of Bullet Train? Oh boy, this was really tough to watch. Bullet Train starring Brad Pitt. Now, here's the problem. He is surrounded, especially in this photograph, of these really wonderful actors. A terrible script. And Brad Pitt is not funny. Brad Pitt thinks he's funny, and that's the problem with the movie. Brad Pitt does not know how to tell a joke. He does not know how to be ironic or sarcastic. He's just terrible. And here's the interesting thing about that is it's very common in Hollywood. When you're a big, successful movie star, like Brad Pitt, like Sylvester Stallone before him, and you say something, you know, trying to tell a joke, trying to be funny, and everyone roars with laughter. Oh my gosh, you're so hilarious, Brad. Oh gosh, you should be in a comedy movie. And then Brad believes all the yes people around him. Now, Brad needs a strong hand from somewhere, usually a manager, an agent saying, Brad, don't do comedy. You're not a comedian. You're a dramatic actor. You have a great look. You're very interesting under the right director. Like the movie with DiCaprio, the Hollywood movie, the Manson movie remake. If Charles Manson had not killed everybody. Terrific in that movie. Fabulous. But in this, the Bullet Train with top billing, awful. The first hour was unbearable. And then the second hour was better because all the really good actors came alive and took over the show. But see, Sylvester Stallone had that same problem when he made his comedy movie, Oscar. Thought he was going to be a big comedian. Everyone was going to laugh at him. And old people laughed at him. They laughed and groaned by how terrible he was. And he never made another movie. That's why Sly Stallone's a smart guy. He made one huge, massive flop, trying to be funny, and never made another one again. Now, Brad Pitt has tried several times to be funny in movies. Action figure getting beat up, Brad Pitt does it really well. We saw that in Fight Club, right? And this is trying to be the Train to Busan, which was a movie about the Train to Busan, a Korean movie about zombies killing people. And it was hilarious and funny and terrifying and frightening and fun. This movie, The Bullet Train, is trying to be that movie. It was not very successful. The acting, pretty good. My favorite actor of all time was in it, Michael Shannon, who, as I've said many times, reminds me he is a carbon copy of my father in 1965. Same face, same look. Absolutely terrific in everything he does. And Brad is charming. And I would say fun. But he's not funny. He's not a comedian. Doesn't really have a strong sense of humor. I'm looking for Michael Shannon. There he is! And he's the bad guy. He is the White Death character in this movie. And he's terrific. And when he first starts and he takes off his glasses, you don't even know it's him. That's how you know it's a good actor. It takes you about a minute or two and you hear the voice, and it's not exactly the same voice, but it's pretty close to the same voice. And then he starts making those expressions, the Michael Shannon expressions. And I think, oh, he's back. And I was with Jan Marie, who knows everybody, just by sight. And I said, I call him my father. I said, that's my father. He's the Black Death. He's the Black Death. And she said, what are you talking about? What character? The one you just saw. White Death is my dad. Now, here's something that was interesting. I can't really tell you the plot of the movie because it's so dumb, it's not even worth discussing. But there was an interesting tender scene at the end about ladybugs. And that's Brad's code name in the Assassin movie. And this character, who is the father of the father of the father, terrific actor, was telling him that there are 7 spots in the back of a ladybug. And they are the 7 fears of the world. And it kind of goes over Brad's head, but the whole joke of the movie is that Brad is very unlucky. Everyone has luck. Brad only has bad luck. Okay, so that's interesting, being a bad luck character with a lady being called Ladybug. Okay, we get it, how they got the name. But they don't go into it and explain why. And I know they don't want to because they think they're making a comedy. And it's not really that funny of a movie. But we keep going for it. So I went to our friend, and we will probably visit this friend very often on this show. And maybe a little bit later. Our Open AI chat friend, our GPT chat. And just in preparation for the show, I thought, what are the 7 fears? Normally you'd go to Google. But Google's old news now. With GPT chat, it's much slower than it used to be. You used to type something and instantaneously get a response. Now it takes a while. And they said they've had over 1 million users in a week. And they said, we're going to have to start charging for this because it's too expensive. So I asked the GPT bot, what are the 7 fears? That's all I said. I didn't say ladybugs. I didn't say Brad Pitt movie. I didn't say quote from a. What are the 7 fears? I want to know if it was a common thing or not. I get a fabulous answer. The 7 fears are a concept from psychology that refers to the 7 most common fears that people experience. I had no idea about this. I consider myself sort of knowledgeable and a little bit well-read. I've never heard of this before. Fear of failure is number 1. Fear of rejection, number 2. Fear of change, 3. Fear of the unknown, 4. Fear of loss, 5. Fear of being alone is 6. Fear of not being good enough, number 7. Now, of these 7, do I have any of these fears? Not really. Not that I'm aware of. And then the bot goes on to say, these fears are considered to be universal and are experienced by people, not cats, by people from all walks of life. They can be triggered by a wide range of situations and can have a significant impact on a person's mental health and well-being. Okay, so now I have to ask. Explain the 7 fears in the Brad Pitt movie. Bullet Train, where his code name was Ladybug. Now we'll see if the Ladybug 7 spots gets brought up by this chatbot. Oh, here we go. It's fast responding now. When I first did this at the start of the show, it would take 5 minutes for this to type out. But a chatbot is not friendly. I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar with the movie Bullet Train or the character named Ladybug played by Brad Pitt. As a large language model, oh, here we go, trained by OpenAI, I do not have the ability to watch movies, meow meow, or shows. Oh boy, oh boy. My knowledge is based solely on the text. Ugh. Who pays for that? Now, I also read another interesting thing right before the show saying that this chat will not revise things anymore. Like somebody said, you used to be able to say, rewrite Santa Claus is coming to town, but as an evil Santa Claus. And he drinks and smokes and plays poker. And the chatbot replied, oh, we don't do hateful things in replies here. Santa is a good thing, not an evil thing. We will not make fun of Santa Claus. Another person said a while back you could, say bad things about yourself and then ask the bot to roast you. Oh, you're fat and ugly and you wear glasses. The other day, and the bot said, oh, no, making fun of people is very wrong. I'll never do that. So I did ask it the other day, tell me a joke about a horse, and it did. I wonder if you asked it for a fat joke, it would tell you a fat joke. Tell me a fat joke. Oh, it's thinking. That's never good. The jokes are usually, oh, here we go. I'm sorry, but I am not programmed to enjoy jokes or other humorous content. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. I have proof of it. Tell me a joke about a horse. Oh, this changed. See, people said they changed. They updated it and they changed it, and they did. And nobody says we're happy about it. Launch Center today. Wow, that makes me sad. I wonder if it would still write, you a lyric or something, a limerick. Because limericks are supposed to be off color, right? Let's try a limerick. Write me a limerick about a cagey cat. I'm sorry, but oh. Now, if you read my Bowles blog article from last week, it wrote me a Shakespearean sonnet. It wrote me a Broadway musical song. What is going on? This is dismaying. We're going to come back to that. Now we're going to go to our Discord conversation with our friend Alexander. And as I told you a couple of days ago, our friend Alexander has gone missing. We found him. I found him. Wasn't that hard. But I hadn't spoken to him for about 2 months. And our friend Igba from Russia said, have you heard from Alexander in Ukraine? He's not responding. And his Twitter account was canceled. I said, his Twitter account was canceled? And then I thought of me, oh no, Elon Musk and Putin. And Alexander posts stuff pro-Ukraine. Not anything terrible about Russia, although it should be. So I tried to find him on Discord. I said, are you there? He said, yeah, I'm here. He didn't say very much, though. And then I kind of asked him, what happened? Why were you banned from Twitter? And if you go to his account, it says suspended. It's shocking. He didn't take himself off. He was banned by Elon Musk. And I asked Elon Musk and Alexander Vidman for assistance, and they didn't help. They blocked me on Twitter and created a new page. The war changed me a lot. I buried a lot of friends. I went to sea. The authorities say that 99% are wearing warm clothes in Ukraine. Unfortunately, that is not true, and everything is being kept alive by volunteers and ordinary people. It's winter, and it's hard everywhere. We have 2 days without light. There is a power plant in our city, and it is the 4th time they have attacked our city. We've heard about that in the news. The Russians are not fighting the army, they are fighting the civilians by rocketing their power plants. We will win, I'm sure of that. Unfortunately, now everything depends on volunteers. There's very little help. And I just said, I'm glad to know you're alive. Because he used to send me stuff every 2 days. He'd send me pictures and videos, and then all of a sudden, it all stopped. I guess around the time he got suspended from Twitter, I don't know. But he's different. He used to write me long paragraphs, descriptive paragraphs. Now that is the longest I've heard from him in 2 months. And then he sent me a couple of interesting videos, which I will not play the audio on because they do have music on them. So this is from the Donetsk region. This is a video that our friend Alexander took. And I went on a Facebook page before I left Facebook and asked the admins there, is Alexander okay? I know he gives you stuff. And I haven't heard from him for 2 months. And they immediately replied in Russian and said, oh, that's Alexander. Okay, I loved that response. Telling me, look, it's Alexander. He'll disappear for 2 months and then he'll come back. It's fine. Okay. I feel much relieved. And I love his videos. I wish he'd send me a video every day. I would play it. I would watch it. I think they're very important. It gives us something that we do not see in real life on the main news. We just watch this as part of his everyday. And that's what he does. He gets a big van and fills it up with food and blankets and safe things and takes it to the front. And sometimes it takes him 2 or 3 days in a car driving to get there. And then he turns around and comes back and drives home. Our friend Igba said, look, he may have been drawn up. When people just suddenly stop communicating with you and they disappear. Today, these days, that means they're either dead or they've been called up. Here is the second lovely video This one's just 21 seconds. And this is Here We Are in Kherson. So our friend Igba thought, okay, he obviously, his papers came in and he left. You got called up, and when you get called up, you don't have a phone, you don't have anything, you're just out there fighting and trying to stay alive. But that doesn't appear to have happened. He appears to be fine and alive and around and still available. Yay! That is our Alexander update. Hey, what else is in the news? Well, it's that time of year. Now look at this. This is our new book I'm going to tell you about. But look at this up here, way up here. Enjoy this site. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, I don't know how to make it bigger. Maybe, can I pull this down a little bit? Technical. Where is it? Is that it? Ah. Oh, I can't, that's sorry. Well, anyway, I'm not going to mess with it. There's a little thing at the top of bowlesblogs.com that says, hey, do you enjoy this site? You can gift the author a WordPress.com membership. Then you press gift. And it's a banner at the top of the page. And I guess you can turn it off if you want to, but I thought, oh, just leave it on. They used to put snow on all their blogs by default in December. Now there's no snow anywhere ever. You can't ask for it. And then you click on gift, and then I get a message saying, you can't gift to yourself. What's wrong with you? This is for other people. But I like the idea. It's nice. Because sometimes I do get messages from people saying, hey, like your show, and you don't have any advertising, and you don't charge me anything. How can I help you? I say, well, I don't know. Now I know. So here we go. Pastor David Wells Vlogs, Volume 13, 2022 is now available. It's available on Amazon. This is the thing to the bookstore. You get a free preview. No sponsored posts. This is how we pay for our server every year. When people buy the $9.99 book, the $9.99 book goes all to Pear Networks because they are the ones who are charging us all of our lovely fees. And here it is in the Kindle store. Here's the advertisement from the David Bowles Books website, the best of David Bowles blogs, and it goes on and on and on and on. And you click on it, and it takes you to the actual page for the book. And that's my little December project every year, just to memorialize in a flat file, plain text Kindle book. So if our server explodes or the world ends, we know that the Kindle will survive. At least that's what we hope. And then I always have to remind myself, go to my bookshelf, my Amazon author bookshelf, and add the book. Because you always have to add it. I think it's ridiculous. If you're publishing with Kindle on Amazon, how did they not know you have a new book to add to your bookshelf? That's what they call this, the bookshelf. Or they used to call it the bookshelf. And now look, I didn't touch it. Right here. That's the new one. David Bowles Blog 2022, Volume 13. It added it for me. And I didn't even have. So this is all sort of underrated, overrated, community rated, but fun nonetheless. Now we're going back to our chatbot. I'm very disturbed that this will no longer create creative content. Let's ask it to write a song. Write a song for me about love. I asked it to write a new Beatles song the other day, and it did. Oh my gosh. It's been ruined. It ruined itself. I asked it to write a Beatles song about Apollo 11, and it did. And I think I published it on Post. Now this is bothering me a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. Midjourney versus OpenAI, that was not it. Here, now come on now. Beatles love song. I asked the OpenAI GPT 3.5 chatbot to write me a Beatles love song about Apollo 11. Here's the amazing result. Right here it is. Oh my gosh, they took it away. Now let's go back an article. And I'll show you, this is, I was so amazed by this whole thing that I published an article about chatting with the chatbot. This is the old bot. This is the new bot. Very pretty, very friendly. Few rhymes with orange. Write a Broadway song about the undead. And here's the song. It won't write songs anymore. And then I asked it a Shakespearean sonnet. Well, this is very bothersome because what good is a chat AI that can't be creative? That's why we have the AI imagery. Because it's creative. Wow, I'm glad I preserved these. In this age of machines and artificial intelligence, where technology rules and love is undefined, I fear that we have lost our true essence. And with it, the ability to love with an open mind. I mean, come on now. It's brilliant. Take a human being days, weeks, months to write something like that. Wow. So what's left? It won't tell a joke. It won't diss a person. It won't be creative. So it just wants to go back to being Google. I'm shocked and dismayed. I wonder if I can analyze a sonnet. Analyze King Lear's, analyze Shakespeare's Lear and Freud's, yes, here we go. Theme of the Three Caskets. Now, that's a fair question for a bot like this because none of it's creative. But you are making associations that you may not understand. And it's the choice between a coffin of gold, a coffin of silver, and a coffin of lead. And when the bot blinks like this for a while, I'm thinking, oh no. Sometimes you have to restart the page. Well, I was so excited about this. This was going to be my new friend. And now it's boring. Wow, what did they do? Oh, I have to reload. Oh, it's still thinking. And people said this creative change was turned off last night. Interesting, right? Well, I guess it's not going to give me an answer to my question. Well, disappointing. I'm going to reload one more time and then I'm going to give up. That's probably what they're hoping because this is a hard question. Or they probably think that I'm trying to, have it write my year-end thesis, my essay, which I guess kids are using it for, and people are outraged. How can you have AI writing your term papers for you? It's already happening. What do you think Google is? Google is plagiarism, copy and paste. And for people who want to do that, that's just fine. I have a friend who said publicly on social media, oh, I'm an artist. I don't use AI. I use my computer, and my computer picks colors and lines for me, but it's not artificial intelligence. Those are just tools. I also paint with brushes and my fingers. And I'm thinking, are you that crazy that you don't understand the value of AI? It's exactly the same thing. People are making the same complaints about art and photography. When photography first started, oh, that's photography. That's not painting. It's imitating paint. All you're doing is pointing a camera at something and take a picture of it. That's not art. Well, it is. It's all art. It's all related to each other. So it's given up. I might try a little later, or I just might give up too. I don't know. But that's the show with our new limited format of 1 hour in and out, because December's a rough month. And we'll see how it goes. No breaks. Sit down. Do all your peeing before you sit down. Do a show. 1 hour. Done. Hello. Goodbye. I will see you again soon. Take care.